Am I the asshole for lying to my mom about my age?
This happened a year ago.
I, 18 male, was at her house when her new husband said I should drop out of my private school since he couldn't pay for private school for his sons and it isn't fair that I have more opportunities than them. I told him it isn't fair that I have always had to cook for them every time I visit when he and my mom are the adults. He quickly turned to my mom and complained about how going to an international school has westernized me and made me disrespectful of my elders. My mom then turned to me and said that I should ask my dad to withdraw me. I was really mad and told her she doesn't get a say since I was already 18. I wasn't, though. I was only 17 but knew that she often gets my birth year wrong and had to be corrected several times. When I turned 18 yesterday, she realized I lied to her and said I should have just talked to her nicely instead of making a fool out of her. Not the asshole, eh? If she can't even remember what year she gave birth to you, she's a real oddot and she had no business siding with her new husband. Your education has nothing whatsoever to do with his sons. God, they're both assholes. Not the asshole. If she can't remember her son's birth year, that's on her. Plus you helped her out, she wasn't pushed to go against her new husband. And it was none of his business anyway. A win-win. Not the asshole. What kind of mother doesn't remember what year she gave birth to you? She has only herself to blame. You didn't make a fool out of her, she made a fool out of herself. Shame on her for not knowing her child's age, shame on her for trying to blame you for it, and shame on her for thinking it is your job to make her look less of an idiot. I wish I could have been there to laugh. Not the asshole. Well, but she is a fool. Can't even get the age of her own kid right. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your mom doesn't remember your birth year? Sounds like you need to distance yourself from these people. Your dad paid for your private school, not your problem. He couldn't do the same for his. He sounds like controlling jerk. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that she's ruining her life? I, 49F, recently got into an argument with my newly 19F daughter about the way she's living her life. Now, she lives on her own, pays her own bills, apparently has a job and a social life. She could definitely be doing much worse, but unfortunately her living situation does not end there. Since she moved out, we have talked about how she spends her days and lives her life. Apparently, most nights when she's not out with friends she's getting wine drunk by herself alone in her apartment. She apparently thought it was funny. I did not agree. And the nights when she is out she's also getting drunk, only much more so and with her friends. She didn't get into the university she wanted, so she's taking a gap year. She didn't study nearly as much as she should have, and from what I've understood she doesn't have intention to put in any more work the next time around. It doesn't even end at unhealthy habits. Last winter she was detained by the police while on a night out because she and her friends had been fighting with the staff at a nightclub. Before that, in the autumn of 2023, she had been found guilty of petty fraud. Gave false info to the Social Security Agency to get more money. I confronted her about the way she lives her life a few days ago while I was delivering cake I'd baked for her birthday. I told her that she needs to get her life together, stop drinking excessively often, getting into pointless petty legal troubles, try to get a hold of her life so she could actually make something of herself, make a better life for herself than what my husband and I have. To stop ruining the potential she has, stop sabotaging her own life before she ruins it and it's too late. She got surprisingly angry at me, telling me I have no business telling her anything since she's an adult who lives on her own, pays her own bills and lives her own life according to her terms. She told me that if I wanted her to live her life in better ways, my husband and I should have given her a better life. She's mostly referring to financial status as my husband and I are lower middle class. Not poor, just lower middle. I tried explaining that we are just worried about her and want her to utilize her potential that she so clearly has. She didn't care and simply told me to leave her apartment and we haven't spoken since. Too long did not read. My 19F daughter got angry at me after I confronted her on her hazardous and unhealthy lifestyle and told her that she has to stop ruining her own life. Drinking, legal troubles, not studying enough. She told me that I don't have any business to meddle in her life since she's an independent adult. She's going to need to learn the hard way. And you're going to have to watch it happen. Be there for her if, when, she shows up asking for help, but be prepared with some requirements she must follow. I'm sorry. It's so hard as a parent to watch your child make decisions you know are wrong. Not the asshole. You are the asshole. You come from a place of love and concern, but I confronted her about the way she lives her life a few days ago while I was delivering cake I'd baked for her birthday. I told her that she needs to get her life together, stop drinking excessively often, getting into pointless petty legal troubles, try to get a hold of her life so she could actually make something of herself, make a better life for herself than what my husband and I have. To stop ruining the potential she has, stop sabotaging her own life before she ruins it and it's too late. Who wants to hear all of this on their 19th birthday? Not the asshole, but your delivery sucks. You have a good message, but remember when you were 19 and adjust. Your relationship with your daughter is changing, she is an adult.
Come from a place of concern, talk rather than chastise.
Just a note on living up to her potential.
When you say this, you are comparing your daughter to a person you invented who only exists in your head. The person you invented is not your daughter, and your daughter cannot be that person.
You need to see your daughter for who she is and work with that person.
Continually telling her you wish she was a different person isn't going to help her and will affect her self-esteem and your relationship with her negatively. You're not the asshole, but the way you handled the conversation with your daughter could have been more effective. Your intentions were good, and it's admirable that you want your daughter to live her best life, but it's important to remember that she's an adult and ultimately makes her own decisions. While you did the right thing by expressing your concerns, it's possible that the way you worded your concerns came across as judgmental or controlling, which could have triggered her defensiveness. Rather than telling her she's ruining her life, try approaching the conversation from a place of love and support.
Soft, you are the asshole. She's likely an alcoholic or otherwise some type of addict.
You're not getting anywhere by lecturing her.
Offer support, not empty speeches and platitudes.
You're not telling her anything a 19-year-old doesn't know.
Am I the asshole for revealing my sister was faking her accent? I, 23 am from Canada. I lived in Newfoundland until I was about 5, and then my family moved to Alberta. My sister, now 21 was 3 when we moved.
Newfoundland has a lot of variation in accents, but where my dad was from in particular has a very distinct, pretty difficult to understand accent.
A lot of people would assume he's Irish when first meeting him.
Alberta, in comparison, is pretty much identical to a general American accent except for a few tells if you know what to look for. My sister and I both sound like any other Albertan, although we can both imitate our dad's accent really well.
Through our mother, my sister and I both have Australian citizenship. My sister moved there to be with her long-distance boyfriend 2 years ago, while I've stayed in Canada.
Last month, I decided to fly over and visit family, and wanted to come see her in the process.
She seemed hesitant and tried to discourage me at first, but eventually agreed. When I went up to her apartment to visit her, she greeted me in a Newfoundland accent. I laughed and asked her why she was putting on that voice, thinking she was just joking. Her boyfriend was standing behind her and looked confused, and she got upset and told me to go away, still in the accent. I had no clue what was going on at this point, so I just left and went to my car. 30 minutes later, I got a text from her. She said she had spoken in this accent for as long as she had been in Australia, because she was tired of having to correct people assuming she was American, and her friends and boyfriend all didn't know it wasn't her natural accent. This is confusing to me because I'm certain she called her boyfriend before going to Australia, so she'd presumably been lying about the accent before anyone would ask her if she was American? She said her boyfriend was pissed about her lying and I should have just gone along with it. I asked how I was supposed to know what she wanted from me and wouldn't he be confused as to why we have 2 different accents anyways, and she just blocked me. We haven't talked since. I'm so confused and I've been feeling awful about potentially breaking up her relationship, but I don't know how else I should have responded to her randomly talking to me in that accent. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She should have clued you in before you even visited and then you could have had the discussion privately instead of being confronted with the fake accent at her door. Without being forewarned, how could you have possibly known what she wanted you to do? This is all on her. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for revealing my sister was faking her accent? Am I the asshole because my sister lied to her boyfriend? Had to fix that for you. Not the asshole. Your sister sounds insane. I have a cousin who moved to England a few years ago and now he speaks with a fake English accent.
Not sure why people are so pitiful.
Not the asshole your sister made an ass out of herself faking an accent. I live in the northern US, I don't mimic a southern accent.
Your sister tried to reinvent herself in Australia and failed spectacularly.
If it was one of my siblings I would laugh too and ask what they were playing at by changing their accent. Not the asshole, what a weird thing to lie about.
She just assumed Australians would know that accent? And since she had to correct people thinking she was American, that meant she had to be speaking without the accent at some point, right?
Not the asshole. She said her boyfriend was pissed about her lying.
Write that sentence down and ask her to circle the part of the sentence that involves you. Why is it your responsibility to take accountability for the words that come out of her mouth? Is she an infant? Does she need constant supervision? Maybe suggest some options for long-term care facilities that might be able to find a caretaker to speak on her behalf since she is unable to. Tell her you're really sorry she has this problem, as living as a person with no control over their words and actions is and will continue to be a long-term, difficult battle.
Am I the asshole for not being happy when my mom announced her pregnancy?
So basically, about a few hours ago, my mom called my brother and I in for an announcement she had to make.
She'll frequently call us in for family meetings, but they're really never that important.
Today though, when she called us in, she had a box on the table and told us to open it. When we did, I pulled out some baby clothes and immediately gasped, but not out of happiness.
I was literally terrified. I threw the clothes back in the box, ran into my room and started crying.
So for a small explanation on why I was so devastated is that my family has a history of constantly leaving the older siblings to care for their younger siblings and never actually tending to their own baby like they should be doing.
I also have very bad misophonia,
so obnoxious crying triggers me very badly. My mom had also promised that I would be her last kid. My mom texted me earlier, telling me that I was grounded for being so ungrateful, and that I should be happy for her because, as her text states, you'll have someone to take care of. So, am I the asshole? Her text states, you'll have someone to take care of.
You need to shut that shit down.
Make it absolutely clear it isn't going to happen. Don't let it happen later.
How old are you? Edit, copy and store that text.
You may need to go as far as contacting child services one day when mom tries to parentify you.
Not the asshole.
Get really busy with school and activities so your mom can watch her own child.
How old are you?
So she's grounded you for being true to yourself and your feelings don't matter?
Obviously not the asshole. Not your circus, not your monkeys.
She wants a baby?
It's her responsibility to take care of it, not her children.
As her text states, you'll have someone to take care of.
Keep that text, it's really important.
It's a proof and you can use it if you decide to call child services because your mother is trying to parentify you.
Not the asshole.
Text her back.
Just to clarify. You have someone to take care of. I am not looking forward to arguing over this again.
And then do not lift a finger to help. Settle expectation right away that you will not take care of the baby, and they can't make you. Tell them they can give you consequences galore, and you will gladly take them over caring for a baby. Don't allow them to guilt you into doing anything.
Don't lift a finger to tend to the baby. Keep at it.
Never cave.
Good luck.